I also want to ask you about your other current gig. We might be seeing you in every Sunday night. The small show, Once Upon a Time, playing an obscure character named Elsa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I talked to you on the set of the show last month, and I asked you a variation of this, but I'm still sort of curious about just what has it been like, taking on this role at this point? Because there wasn't even the distance of a few years. It was like people were still going crazy for this movie.
Yeah.
This movie was still a big deal that was like #1, I remember, in Japan for like 20-something weeks when you were being cast. So what's it all been like?
It's terrible, but I didn't know much about Frozen in the lead up. I don't know, I just somehow I missed it.
Right.
Not missed it, but I just hadn't seen it and I hadn't got caught up, and I don't have little kids or anything, so maybe that was that was why. But then when I got the role and started reading about it online and seeing that it was, the highest grossing film in Japan, other than Titanic and Avatar, and seeing that sort of stuff and reading about the effects it's had on people, and I did get incredibly overwhelmed. And I mean, I pretty much had a panic attack, which was really funny because I felt like when Elsa gets overwhelmed in Frozen, I felt that same sense of being really overwhelmed. And then I actually had a panic attack, and I never have them. It was pretty much the first time I'd ever had one. And that kind of gave me the key into her character. I basically, that kind of anxiousness and loss of breath and all of that, it helped me relate to her. And it was that crazy thing of life imitating art and all of that. Because I was just like, oh my God, the responsibility to portray her in a way that pleases everyone, is going to be so difficult. And also it happened really fast. I found out I got cast as it, and I was in Vancouver like 5 days later, shooting 2 days later.
Wow.
So yes, it was a lot, but once you get the dress,
yes.
once you get the dress and the shoes and the hair, you're so much her already, and all that helped so much. And I'd spent 2 hours in hair and makeup, and that helped. And I looked at how she moved and read about how Disney designed her, which was based on a ballerina. And I used to do ballet, so that helped too. And I just tried to take all those elements and then also try to make her true to what was happening in Once Upon a Time, try to make her real, because that's the whole point of the show, is bringing to life those characters. They don't want caricatures, they want real people. So just try to do that. And I think it's all come together really well. And then obviously Elizabeth Lale playing Anna.
That's such a big deal, that relationship.
Yeah, such a big deal, that relationship. And so much what people love about the movie is that it's about sisterly love and not a man saving the day and all of that. And so working with Elizabeth was wonderful. And I think, that was her first job out of college. And so we really bonded because, she was working it all out, and then I was overwhelmed because I was playing Elsa. So together we kind of banded together, and it was just amazing. But the whole being Elsa, like when you're around kids and stuff in that costume,
I can only imagine.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's like being Santa Claus, but covered in sequins. Kids just come up to you and they just tell you stuff and want to share things with you and want to, it's really amazing. And we went to the BC hospital last week, just after Halloween, and that was amazing. Getting to hang out with those kids and seeing what it means for them to have those characters there. I mean, as an actor, you feel pretty useless most of the time. You're not a doctor. You can't, do anything to really help people in that way. But it's great to get to just be, a part of kids' lives and to kind of make them, I don't know, they just, really lit up when we were there.
Sure.
It was kind of an amazing feeling. And then taking off the cape for the last time was really hard because, I was like, this is the end. I don't get to be Elsa anymore. It was, because you feel a part of characters you play often, and so saying goodbye to her was hard.
Yeah, so we're kind of in the home stretch here from what we're seeing, and we just on the show we kind of caught up now to how she got in the urn.
Yeah,
and we've seen that. So what can you?
Pesky urn.
Yeah, that damn urn. What can you tease about these final episodes this fall in December that will kind of wrap up the storyline? Obviously, the Snow Queen. She's trying to make a sisterly thing happen.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that struggle?
Yeah, she's about to launch a terrible curse on everyone in Storybrooke, which is the curse of Shattered Sight, which is actually based on the curse from the original Hans Christian Andersen story about the Snow Queen, and it's basically that when this curse gets in your eye, you see the worst in other people. And I thought it was great that they chose that as a way to kind of wrap up the first half of the season. And it's great because you get to see a lot of the characters who never say a bad word about each other, like the Charmings, perhaps, break out of that and actually, it brings out the worst in the Charming. So, like, what does that say? If it can make them angry at each other, then it's got to be a bad curse. So then they basically, we've got to solve that. And also, Anna and Elsa are still looking for each other, so all of that has to play out. And I don't think I'm really meant to say much more than that. But
right.
that's all lovely too, the way all that plays out.
I have to ask because the dress, it is so iconic. It looks great, but people do joke about the fact that she doesn't change out of the dress in Storybrooke. But I always wonder, because obviously they have a story to tell, and we've seen this so many times that they didn't do the oh my gosh, a TV and all that. But do you imagine, Elsa trying to adapt to our modern life?
I always wanted there to be a montage of. Jennifer Morrison's character Emma, getting Elsa to try on jeans and trying to make her all practical.
Right.
Because we are basically trying to look for bad guys in a forest, and I'm in heels and with a cape. So I thought that would have been really funny, but they couldn't really get her out of that dress. I mean, Colin was in his he plays Hook, Colin O'Donoghue. He was in his iconic
couple years.
Oh yeah, actually, someone tweeted something really hilarious. It was a picture of Colin and I, and then someone random standing next to us, being like, "Oh my God, they smell like. Wouldn't they just change their clothes already?"
Right.
But they made a bunch of dresses for me, so I did get to change, have a fresh dress each day. So I got to, be in a fresh one. But I think Elsa just doesn't perspire, or she just magics.
There you go.
She just
her powers
magically freezes it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
We got when I was on the set, we got a tour of the costume department.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And the costume designer was saying how your dress, how much work went into it. It was the most expensive thing that ever made for the show.
Yeah.
Given all that and the fact that it's the Elsa dress, was it very daunting to, as you started to realize what a big deal this was, that you're wearing
I think
this?
at first I was kind of like, don't touch anything, don't eat, don't sit down. And then by the second week I was just running through the forest and falling over, and I kind of, once I'd lived in it for a couple of weeks, it felt like wearing a tracksuit. Well, it didn't ever feel like that, but
right.
I just meant I became more comfortable in it. It did feel special. I mean, and also it's a corset. It's a very tight corset, so it changes the way you stand and hold yourself. So, I mean, that helped give me a certain posture, and that was great for the character. But I mean, it was a bit like being in a wedding dress and trying to function every day.
Right.
Just getting caught on trees in the Vancouver forest and having mud crawling up the dress, because obviously Vancouver's a rainforest, and so it's very wet there. So often, I was getting the dress really muddy, and people would be standing on the train because my costume went out for about 3 meters. So you had boom guys and you had other actors, and I mean, I was a walking liability, but I got better at it. I worked out little ways to hold the cape and that and a coffee and my lunch, you know,
Right.
like, yeah, but there was a bit of maneuvering needed.
Did you get used to, there's a lot of green screen on that show, and I know when I
Yes.
visit the set, it kind of throws me. Did you get used to
Yes.
that, or can you get used to that?
It makes you a bit nauseous at first,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
a lot of people say that, yeah.
Yeah, because basically everything's green, so the ground and the walls and it's all the same green. So at first, I think your eyes can't work out how to stabilize yourself because there's nothing to for them to focus on. But you get used to it, and yeah, I mean, we were just commenting on this because I was watching the show last night with Elizabeth and Scott Michael Foster, who plays Christoph. And we were just seeing, some of the green screen scenes and going, oh, wow, like, look at that. It's crazy because, it's like when you're doing it, they show you a little monitor of a rough idea of what it's going to look like, but there's so much more detail when it's finalized. And it's just kind of delightful to see it and to see it all come together. It's kind of bizarre. I mean, it is bizarre when you think about it. It is.
Yeah, it's very strange when you're there to be like, oh, here's Hook's ship, but there's nothing around it.
I can't imagine how the people who did Avatar felt, because that was everything, like not only everything around them, but them as people. Like that just must have been surreal. Yeah.
So it sounds like, the Frozen storyline is wrapping up, but what do you think? Will this be your last time wearing that dress, or down the line might we see?
People tend to pop up, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They tend to come back. I'd love to, but I have no idea. I have no idea. And I think Disney's making a Frozen 2, so they might have their own ideas about where the story is going. So there's all that they need to work out. So I don't know, but it'd be lovely to get to wear it again. Well,
we will see the next few weeks. I know they're off next week, but then it'll be back Once Upon a Time, Sunday nights, obviously, on ABC.
Yes.
The Mule will be in theaters, on demand.
Yeah, please support The Mule, because it's a great movie and it's so original and different, and I think people will really love it. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. For all things entertainment, keep it here at IGN.